What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Crypto Crossroads. Today, let's talk about Velo, LightNet, and CP Group and how together they are not only taking over the Asian region, but they're also spreading worldwide. So, if you're interested in this type of information, then do me a quick favor, hit the like and subscribe button so that we could get the show started. All right, guys. So, this video has been inevitable. I know I have spoken about Velo in the past when I talk about Lightlink, when I have talked about CP Group, but I don't think I ever dedicated one video for to just Velo itself and its associates. So to me, and perhaps to some of you, this video will be special, given the fact that some of you guys have actually requested this in the comment sections and also within Twitter. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this video. And we'll get with the part, we'll kick it off with the part that most people love to see first, and that is the tokenomics. Now, as you guys can see, Velo is sitting around a penny and a half as of August 19, 2025. The market cap is a little shy of $260 million. The total supply is about 24 billion coins, with about 18 billion coins in circulation. Now, this coin has been in existence, to my knowledge, since 2020, I believe. But the company itself started in 2018, right? So as you guys can see, let's go over to the Velo website to check to verify if I was correct. Let's take a look. Boom. All right. So we're at the Velo website, and it tells us here that the Velo token was launched in September 2020, and it is a utility token for the Velo network that actually has a double utility, right? It serves both as collateral and as an entrance requirement to the Velo ecosystem. So you'll be needing this Velo token to participate in the network, right? Now, a little side story about Velo, and disclaimer: this video might be somewhat longer than my typical videos, but I know the Velo community is pretty deep, so I'm sure that you guys will enjoy it. Now, the first time that I get introduced to Velo was somewhere around November. No, I'm not. I think it was September 2020 or sometime in 2020 when around the time when I first got into crypto, and at that time I wasn't researching. I was listening to BitBoy Crypto, and I was in this Discord group where there was a guy, right, with a crystal ball, is what he called it, and he would just make crypto calls, and a bunch of us would just follow it blindly, right? Some of them would hit, others wouldn't. But there was a specific time when I think Velo had just got enlisted on KuCoin, and this guy with the crystal ball, he made a crypto call, and he told us all, you guys need to invest into this crypto because it's going to go to the moon and it's going to buy me a trip or maybe a house in Hawaii, right? So he was really bullish on Velo, but he wasn't the type of guy to research himself, just like I was. He was only looking at the charts, and he was looking at hype, and he was looking at newly launched tokens. And Velo, I believe, was one of those at that time. Of course, 2020, right? So Velo had just gotten launched on KuCoin, and he made the call on the Discord group, and he said, "Hey, go all in, uh, and this coin is gonna go to the moon." So that was pretty much my introduction to Velo. I bought in. I believe it was under $1, and we literally sold near $2, is what I recall on KuCoin, and that was it. I got out of Velo not knowing what it was, and many years later, I came across it again. I saw, I think it was Crypto Canvas and also Black Rue talking about Velo. And this time they were actually giving us verifiable research, right? So that's when I got back into Velo. And even till today, I haven't taken a good look into it. outside of the CP group connections and the degree of separation between Velo and Lightning. Now, I know enough to have gotten into Velo back under a penny, so I'm happy with that. You know, and here we go. Here we are trying to start this deep dive series for Velo. So let's continue. But that was just a little side story of how I first got introduced to Velo, which was by accident. But here we are. This project seems very bullish, given that it kind of has some type of dominance over Thailand and the Asian region. So that's bullish. So now let's continue looking down at this website. Let's scroll down. Now we can see that this Velo token is in two different networks at the current moment. Obviously, Stellar and the BNB smart chain, right? Now let's continue and taking a look at the strategic partners. And I think I recall Visa back in the day. I think this partnership got announced in 2020, but I'm not too sure. But you see, the Stellar Development Foundation is a strategic partner, along with LightNet, which is a CP Group subsidiary that we will touch upon later in this video. Now, let's go ahead and look at another important aspect of Velo, and that will be the investors. Now, you'll see a couple here listed. I recognize some of these. Some of them I won't mention because that will be purposely covered in a separate video. But for this introductory, or however you say that word, for this intro, we'll be focusing, or we'll be taking a look at CP Group, Hashkey Capital, UOV, and Signum Capital, which are investors, right? And right off the bat, obviously, I know of CP Group, and I know that Signum Capital and UOB invested in IXS, right, which is a utility token for two different companies that are connected to CP Group as well: BlackRock, Securitize, Spice VC, and many other significant companies. Now, let's take a look at the investors for, I'm sorry, the advisors for the Velo project. And as you guys can see, we have very interesting figures sitting on the advisory board. And of course, it's hard to ignore Jed McCaleb because he is a co founder of the Stellar Development Foundation. And we know that he actually also co founded Ripple, if I'm correct. We also see Professor David Macieris, who is also the chief scientist of the Stellar Development Foundation. So already, right off the bat, we can see that Velo is not only running on the Stellar network, but it's also connected to these important figures that run the Stellar Development Foundation. And then thirdly, that I have highlighted this gentleman who is a professor known as Robert Townsend, who is an economics professor at MIT, a very prestigious university here in America, USA. And, you know, CP Group is a really interesting company to take a look into because given base that they're based out of Thailand, right? So you will figure that they will only do business in Thailand or Asia, but they actually have a strong presence in America, right? Through many of their subsidiaries, and they're even partner with MIT, right? So I'm not surprised to see an MIT professor being an advisor to Velo, given that Velo is technically a subsidiary of CP Group. Now, quick side note: there's a project called Lightning that's also in the CP Group family. It's very little known. It reminds me of Velo when Velo was less popular and at a smaller market cap. And the only reason I bring this up is because CP Group, through a subsidiary called Translucia, partner up with MIT to create artificial intelligence applications, systems, and services that are going to be on the Translucia network that is powered by Lightning. So, in a nutshell, these applications will be powered by Lightning. So that's the only reason I bring it up, right? So we just covered the Velo team advisors, but now let's look at a very essential player when it comes to the Velo team. And he is no other than Chatchaval Jiaravanon, who is a member of the CP Group family. And as a matter of fact, he is the cousin of the CP Group CEO, Superchai Jiaravanon. And we'll cover that in more detail very soon. But now let's take a look at his previous positions regarding the CP Group family. And, this is information that you can find in LinkedIn. And of course, you see he's in Velo Labs. He's actually the chairman since 2018 because, the company was launched in 2018. It took its time and then finally launched the coin in 2020. So I like seeing that, as a personal preference. I like to see a company establish itself and then launch the token, right? They didn't rush the process, and I like seeing that. And that's something that I noticed with Lightning as well, because it was founded in 2022, but it took its time and it launched the coin 2 years later, much like Velo. And, you know, the rest is history. Now, Chatchaval Jiaravanon is the Velo chairman since 2018, and he is still currently there. And then another position that he held or holds is he is a chairman and founder of the Cheroin Energy and Water Asia, which is another CP Group subsidiary. He was also the he's also the director at Echo Auto Parts, and of course, I'm assuming that's a CP Group subsidiary because CP Group is in the automotive sector as well. And again, uh, Lightning's parent company actually did business with a huge automobile maker over there in Thailand, and that will be Honda, right? So CP Group acquired Pellet Technology, the parent company of Lightning, and Pellet Technology actually created the blockchain for Honda. So I'm not surprised that that was done given the CP Group affiliation. Now, perhaps one of the most important positions that Chatchaval Jiaravanon holds is that he is a member of the board of directors for True Corporation, a huge telecommunication company that has a bunch of users through its True Wallet. And that's something that we'll cover again shortly. Now, let's go back and talk about this Velo token and its sister company that is called LightNet, right? And interesting enough, this company wasn't mentioned in Chatchaval Jiaravanon's LinkedIn, or who knows, maybe it was and I missed it. But we don't have to worry about that because what we're going to do right now is go to the LightNet website. So here we are. We're at the LightNet website and we're getting a little brief introduction to what LightNet is and where it's from. Now, of course, LightNet is closely affiliated with CP Group, given that one of the co-founders is Chatchaval Jiaravanon, who is also a member of the CP Group. Right? We established that. Now, LightNet is actually it seems like it's registered in Singapore, but it also has regional hubs in Lithuania, Dubai, and obviously it operates in Thailand, Indonesia, and the Philippines. It's legal, compliant with multiple licenses in different countries and jurisdictions. And it actually has a flagship product called LiquidNet that offers cross border payment solutions, infrastructure for money transfer operators, local banks, and corporates. So that's big. They're into they facilitate the movement of money, right? And then this website tells us that through this flagship product, retail customers can across Southeast Asia can send money to their families, friends, and business partners around the world. And I believe that's something that I recall Velo was doing back in 2020 when I first came across it, right? That and I think the Visa partnership that goes hand in hand. Now that's to me that's interesting because apparently, based on the research I've done in the past, uh, just like here in America, there's people that come here from Latin America and even Mexico, right? They come, people come, migrate, they assimilate the best that they can, and they work here, but they still have family on the other side or the other countries that they're from. So what they do is they save up their money and they send it back home to their family. And a lot of times, when they sent that money, it would either take longer than it should, and it was more expensive than it should be, right? So through blockchain, these transactions could be cheaper and faster, and that's exactly what LightNet and Velo are doing, right? They're facilitating money, cross-border payments that are faster, cheaper, and transparent. But it's happening in Asia rather than here in America. But I mean, I wouldn't doubt that they're doing it here as well, right? But let me not ramble too much. So in all, that's a big uh, that's a big play because everybody's always sending money, everybody's always making payments. So Lightnet and Velo are trying to capture a share of that market. That's bullish. Now, given that Velo is running on the Stellar network, man, they got access to liquidity and finality. So it makes sense that Velo is on Stellar. Now let's move on. I told you guys that the co-founder of LightNet is Chatchaval Jiaravanon. CP Group connections right there. And then there's also a gentleman whose name is, and I might butcher this, right? Disclaimer. But I think his name is Tridbody Arunanon Chai. And he is a co-founder of LightNet. But I believe he was also a co-founder and a chairman to this company called EveryNet that actually merged with Velo. So this guy is gonna be a key figure that we're gonna investigate along with Chatchaval Jiaravanon and anybody and anything or any affiliate of Velo Labs, CP Group, and LightNet. Now, what I want to do is, since CP Group plays a key role in Velo and LightNet, I'm going to show you guys a clip uh, from CNN that actually shows or interview where an interviewer is interviewing the CEO of CP Group, Superchai Jiaravanon, who is cousins with Chatchaval Jiaravanon. And he'll be speaking about his state of mind or his thoughts on startups, Thailand, and CP Group, and of course, um, the overall benefits for his country. Let's take a look.
The best way to innovate is to actually partners with startups.
Let's go and have a look over here because there's a good description of it over here. So this is really what it's about, isn't it?
Well, the thing is that we are not only doing this for the group, but we believe that the digital park or innovation cluster could also help Thailand as a country become innovation hub or a tech hub. So we take part in that as well.
Right, so here you've got the big boys and girls, you've got the academics, you've got the money,
yeah,
you've got the startups,
yeah,
and you've got government and licensing and advice.
that's right.
Correct?
All the agencies, yes.
The agencies.
The best way to innovate.
All right, guys. So that was Superchai Jiaravanon from the CP Group. And in case you guys missed it, to sum it all up, he was saying that what CP Group is doing is not just for CP Group, but it's also for the country, right? Given that CP Group has an alliance with Thailand, they're tapping into the digital currency for that nation. They're doing cross border payments, they're feeding countries through its subsidiaries. And one way that Thailand can become a tech hub will be by actually accelerating startups. So that's what CP Group is doing with the blockchain space. Now, obviously, as you guys can see here, Super Chai is at the very top. Right below him is his sister, right? The youngest sister, Tipapon, who is the founder of MQDC, right? So she's technically the youngest daughter of Danin Jiaravanon, the senior chairman of CP Group. Now, to her right is her cousin, Chatchaval Jiaravanon, who is a co founder of LightNet and Velo, as we established that already. Now, if we look back at Tipapon and we look at her left, there is a man who goes by the name of Jawangwat Arivajaram, who is actually the co-founder of TV Media Global that was established in 2019, right? So he and his wife Tipapon, they came together with the companies, CP Group subsidiaries, and they created their own ecosystem for the metaverse, right? And these are projects that are going to be huge, working with Disney, MIT, the Sandbox, Animoca Brands, uh, iTech Entertainment, Accenture, and I know you guys know that company, right? And if not, that's a company that we'll talk about or pretty soon. So, anyways, these CP Group subsidiaries, they needed a blockchain that could power this ecosystem. So what they did is in 2023, I think, they utilized this project called Lightning that was created by Peller Technology in 2022. Now, Peller Technology creates blockchain solutions for Lamborghini, Honda is working with Disney, and that's all getting migrated to Lightning. You know, some of them are actually. But how Peller is connected to CP Group is simply CP Group went out there and partly acquired Peller in 2022, and shortly thereafter they created Lightning, right? So it's all one big family, right? And we're just following the money trail. Now, I was just trying to tell you guys about the CP Group family because Super Chai said it himself. He's accelerating startups to accelerate Thailand as a technology hub, right? Which is going to benefit its country for sure. Now, I did tell you guys that Chatchaval Jiaravanon is the board of director, a direct or whatever. He's a director for True Corporation, and that is a huge company. So you look at the very top of this mind map, you can see that Velo and LightNet are attached to those companies and its subsidiaries because Chatchaval is a prominent figure in all these companies above. Now, Lightning is also connected to True Mobile because some of his employees actually worked at True Digital and True Digital Parks, and they held prominent roles, right? And in this picture, you can see Roy Hui, who is the co-founder of Peller and Lightning, being next to these True Digital employees and also next to CP Group. But that's a topic for another video. But in all, I just want to say I'm going to continue searching or researching Velo, Lightlink, and anything that CP Group touches because they have generational wealth and they're established not only in Thailand and Asia, but also the rest of the world. So keep an eye out for future videos. Keep an eye out on Lightlink and anything that CP Group does. You know, and it's not financial advice. Everything that I just said is for entertainment purposes. And I just encourage you guys to do your own research. Feel free to share it in the comment section. And if you guys like this video, then please do me a quick favor, hit the like and subscribe button so that I can keep, so that it encourages me to make more videos like these. And guys, thank you for tuning in. Remember that God is good, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.